Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Starting with the great name of Allah, the most merciful and beneficent. My name is Avesur Rahman, and today I gonna explain in this video tutorial for loop, nesting of for loop and while loops. First of all, why we use loop? So basically it is the way of doing a task or a thing up to multiple times. For example, if a person asks you to print the numbers up to 10, you're gonna just simply type print 1, print 2, print 3 and up to 10. It's easy, but if the person told you that print the numbers up to 1000, now it's possible, but it may take 2 hours or 3 hours and a lot of typing as well. So here I gonna just write a simple statement, and you just initially you must keep in mind that I'm doing something 5 times. So here I'm just writing for I in range 5 print Pakistan. So what am I doing here? I'm just doing printing Pakistan 5 times. Run it, check it. The Pakistan has been printed up to 5 times. Now what actually happens? So this loop starts from 0 up to 4. So here I'm gonna just tell you about a little bit about the syntax of the for loop. So a simple colon is used here, and right there this statement must be indented with the 4 spaces. If this statement is not indented with the 4 spaces, it will give you an error. The statement is right under the for. It gives the syntax error expected in indented blocks, so you must give the 4 spaces. Now you may ask, what is I? I is just a simple variable. You can select variable by your own choice. What if I use name here instead of I run it, check it, the result is same. So Pakistan has been printed 5 times again. Now what is range? So the range is simply a list containing of elements. So the range of 5 is the list containing 5 elements. Here is the list containing 5 elements, 1 2 3 4 5. So here the range is from 0 up to 4. Now the range is a list containing of elements. Now we gonna check this, that how it works. We will just print the name. So the range is from 0 1 2 3, and we are printing the name. So we want to run it and check it. Now what happens here actually? So initially when you run this code, the value of the name is 0, the first element of the list, and we're gonna print this name. Its value is 0, so it gives at the output 0. At the second time when it runs, the value of the name changes from 0, and it is the second element of the list, and it gives the value 1. We are just printing here the name. This time the value of the name is 1. At third time when it runs, the value of the name changes from 1 to 2, and we're going to print the name, and at this time the value of the name is 2, so it gives the 2, and at the fourth time the value of the name is the last element of the list, and we are printing the last element of the list. We will print name, and at this time the value of the name is 3. So we have seen there this, and the output screen is 3. Now what is how the range is working in Python? So I will tell you about the range. So actually the range is something like that, and mathematically I will write like that. So what actually it tells that it contains two parameters, one is starts and one is stop, from where your range is start, and it will run up to stop. So note here that the start point will be included, and up to stop, where is this, I have used this from this bracket, I have used this for this purpose because it excludes this stop element. So for inclusion I have write a square bracket because it includes the first element but it excludes the last element. Now what gonna happen if I write there for name in range from 10 to 20? So check it. As the result, we have seen that the result is it includes the 10 but it excludes the last point, which is 20. So it gives the value from 10 up to 19. So it means that it includes this 10 and it excludes the 20, and it includes the last value, which is 19. So now we are doing just a simple task on this. We're gonna print the sum of first 10 numbers. For example, if someone told you that I need the sum of the first 10 numbers, so how gonna we print the sum of first 10 numbers now? So we must need a loop from which will run from 1 up to 10. So we're gonna use loop for num in range 1 to 11. So here I have write 1 from 11. So we need 1 from 10, as I told you that the last point will be excluded, so it will iterates from 1 up to 10. Now we have to get the sum of first 10 numbers. So the first 10 numbers 1 2 3 4 5. So the numbers are coming in the loop when we have to add these numbers. So for this we have to create a variable called as sum and initialized with value of 0. So we're gonna write here sum plus num, and after jumps out of this loop we're gonna print the value of the sum. So we're gonna run and check. So it gives the value 55 as the result was expected. So initialized we have the sum with the 0. Now entering into this loop, the value of the num is 1. So we have the value of the sum initially 0 and the value of the num is 1. So 1 plus 0, so sum have 1, and the next iteration the value of the num changes from 1 to 2. So this value of the sum was 1 and the value of the num is 2, so 1 plus 2, which is 3. So this loop I tried 10 times and it adds the values from 1 to 10, and at last when it reaches to 11 it jumps out and print the sum, the last value that is stored in the sum, which is 55. And we have seen our result as we were expected was 55. So now I'm gonna move towards nesting of for loop. How can we use a for loop inside in a for loop? So I'm gonna just write for I in range 0 to 3, and here I am using another for loop for j in range 0 to 3, and I inside this loop I am printing the value of I and j. I'm gonna run it, check it, it gives 0 0 0 1 0 2. So this means this loops was iterated up to 9 times, this nested loop. So initially the value of I is 0 from 3, so 0 1 2, so it will run up to 3 times. While entering into this loop, the value of j is 0 up to 3 0 1 2, so this loop will also iterate 3 times 3 into 3 9, so the whole this nested loop will be iterated up to 9 times. So initially the value of I is 0, it satisfies the condition 0 less than 3. Entering into the loop, we are inside another loop where we have used j and initialized with a value of 0. 0 is less than 3, so we're going to print the value of I and j inside this loop, which is 0 and 0. So we have seen the result is 0 and 0. The next iteration it jumps out, the value of the I changes from 0 to 1. So again it enters inside this loop where is the j value is 0, so it prints the value I 0 I1 and the j 0. Now at the same time it again printed 3 times the value. Now again it jumps out, the value of I becomes 2, so then again the value of I changes and the value of I is 2, so 2 is less than 3 inside, coming into the inside next loop. So j, the value of j is 0, so the value of I was 2 and the value of the j is 0. Again it will iterate up to 3 times. So that was the nesting of for loop. It's really easy. Have used the first loop, and here we use another loop which is called nested loop, so by printing these values. Now I'm gonna tell you about the while loop. While loop function is also same as the function of the for loop was, but just a bit difference in this syntax. We have, for example, we initialized I equals to 0. Mention that I have told you in earlier of this video that this is a variable you can call I or num, it's up to you. Now here come the while loop. So while num is 0, num is less than 10, here comes the condition, and we use this colon here and print here the num and the num equals to num minus 1. So we use a decrement statement. Sorry, we should use an increment statement here because num is 0 and we have to run this loop up to some extent. So we gonna run this. It gives us the value from 0 up to 9. So initially we have initialized num from 0, and entering the condition num is 0. It satisfies the condition 0 is less than 10. So print the num. Initially the value of num is 0 and then increment it in this num. So we have just add 1 in this num. Again it moves toward its condition. It satisfies the condition 1 is less than 10. Print the num, and this time the value of num is 1, and the loops will iterate up to 9. When it becomes 10, 10 is not less than 10 but it is equal to 10. It doesn't satisfy the condition, so it jumps out from the loop. So that's all from today's lecture. Hope you like it. Thanks to watch this video.